Hello, welcome to Faith and Autism with Cornelia. As you're gonna notice today, there's been a few changes because the direction is still the same, the vision is still the same, but the mission has become clearer. So we are making making a few changes that's gonna help us with the future of this channel, the future of this community that we're building, so that the focus may always remain on God and His Word and in the growth of all of us as a community. So every single time that I come to you, I'm gonna be bringing a word from God where I say a lesson that I learned from His Word to help us, encourage us in this journey. And sometimes I'm gonna include stories about myself, about my journey, and a testimony to help us grow and to help us see that God is still in the business of miracles, and He's still in the business of healing. He's still in the business of doing things that are beyond our thoughts or imagination. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. So if you wanna know what we're gonna talk about today, stay tuned. Hello, my name is Cornelia with Faith and Autism, and today I'm gonna be talking about casting out burdens. The story that I'm gonna be focusing on today is in 1 Samuel 1. It's the story of Hannah. It's a story that we know very much, that we've heard a lot of times, but I'm gonna bring a different view, a different way that I was thought about that over the past few weeks spending time in the presence of God. Those who don't know the story, Hannah was a woman in the Bible. She's the mother of Samuel, a prophet in the Bible, and she had a co-wife, I guess, and then the co-wife had children and she couldn't have any children, and so the co-wife always was provoking her, making fun of her, mocking her. And as a custom at that time, yearly they used to go to the presence of God in Shiloh to sacrifice, spend some time in His presence and go back home. So what the Bible says in chapter 1 verse 4, it says, whenever the day came for Elkanah to sacrifice, he will give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters, but to Hannah he will give double portion because he loved her and the Lord had closed her womb. So we see that when they were coming there, it was to fellowship. This meat that they were eating, it was called the fellowship offering. So it was one of the very few offerings that God had apportioned for them so that the people can eat. Most of the other offerings will either be eaten by the priests. Like there were very different rules at that time. And so what we see is that Elkanah gave his wife the meat, but the wife will not eat the meat at all. We often forget whose presence we are in. The Bible says in 1 Samuel 1 verse 7 is that this went on year after year. I'm gonna quickly run through the lesson that I learned, that this story taught me. The first lesson is that you can go to God's house and not be in His presence. Hannah went to God's house year after year, but she never took the time to be in His presence. And the second lesson I'm reading right here is that we don't truly cast our burden to God because the reason is because we don't trust fully and we don't know Him. Psalm 9:10 says, those who know your name will trust in you, for you have never forsaken those who seek you. So what we do with the burden, sometimes we believe that we've done it. See how we come to God. The Bible says we go to church, we say, cast all your burdens to God. You know what we do? We go to the altar of God. God, I commit my child. This is me. I commit my child into your able hands that cannot fail. I pray that, Lord God, you will take care of it. I will not worry about her anymore. You know what we do? As you're turning around, that burden that you left at the altar, you turn around and you pick it back up. Because as you were giving it to God, you know what we were doing? You were doing a tug of war. Kind of like, okay, God, I give it to you, but like, do I? That's what we do oftentimes. Because you know why I say we don't truly cast it out? Because when I go home, for example, I pray for my baby, I go home and I see something that she did that at 8 years old she shouldn't be doing. Every single worry, I go and carry it again. So did I really leave it at the altar? Did I leave it at the altar with my Father? Did I leave it at the altar? I didn't. Because I did not. Yes, the Bible says that's why the Bible talks about the parable of the sower, right? The cares of life take over that word, and then you can't see it anymore. You can't find your way anymore. And the third lesson, the third and last lesson, which is the best lesson, is that God is always ready when we are. So today I want to encourage us. Know that God, the King of Glory, I know I call him that a lot. Because I love that word that says you will see the King in his beauty. You will see him. But the thing is, for you to be able to see him, you have to be able to know him and trust who he is. Anna came to the consciousness of who it was that she was coming to meet. Year after year, day in, day out, she carried those burdens, went back with them, while God is telling you, cast your burden upon me. In 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7, it says, cast all your care to me because he cares for you. Simplified version is saying, cast all your cares to him once and for all. Hannah in verse 18 understood what that word meant. So she said, I will no longer be downcast. Today when I go home, I will not have any more. I will leave this at this altar and I will go home without any burden. So after year after year after year after year, she did the same thing until she came to the consciousness of the King of Glory, the mighty one of Jacob, the Holy One of Israel, the creator of the whole universe. She came and she told him all that was in her heart. Everything that was inside of her, she left it there and she went home, and the Bible records she was no longer downcast. She was no longer sad. You want to tell me that Penina stopped mocking her? No. The mocking was almost always there, most likely, because she still didn't have a child. But she decided to see the King of Glory that is higher than those mockery. The Father of light that brings, he said, there's a song that I'm loving this, I say right now, that it's never lost. He says, night could not whisper away what is said in the light. She heard the word. When she went to pray, she caught the attention of the man of God who spoke a word of prophecy to her, and that changed her life. So today, this year, I'm on a journey, on a growth journey. I pray that you join me on this journey, because I've decided that I do not want to let what is happening around me dictate how I live my life, how much I trust God, how much I walk with Him, how much I listen to Him. Because I've done something this year that I've not done the year before, and then the year passed, and I'm praying to God that He will help me to stay consistent, so that we honestly will get to the place called there, to that place of growth where we're not just looking at the things around us, but we're looking, like the Bible says, looking out to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. I hope that as we start this new journey, this new chapter of faith and autism, this growth journey, we will grow together, and that God will help us. He will speak to us. We will trust Him more. We'll give Him time to speak to us and listen to His instructions, because God is always speaking. And honestly, I am excited for this journey. I'm excited for the next few months, the next few weeks, the next few days, because there are gonna be days filled with the presence of God. And I hope you join me in and we go together. So don't forget, no matter what, Jesus reigns.